bom dia. Munson here with the Good Morning Portugal show from expatsportugal.com. Tudo bem? Bom dia, alegria. Tudo bem? Today, of course, is World Portuguese Language Day. And my special guest, let's bring him on a screen now. Why wait? You can't get too much of a good thing, including Michael Heron of Avanlight. Good morning to you, Michael. How are you this morning?
Good morning, Mr. Munson. I'm very well, sir. How are you doing?
Yeah, very well. Quite excited about this idea of. I just chanced upon it yesterday and thought there might be a bigger deal about it, but we're going to make a big deal about it this morning. Portuguese Language Day internationally, and we're asking. Well, I want to ask people what their favourite Portuguese word is. I think we've all got one, or even phrases, because some of the phrases are amazing, aren't they?
They are indeed, and it's quite interesting. And I have to admit, I've done a little bit of research, but I have blatantly plagiarized some people who've already done the work for me online. So the information I might share later is easily accessible online. But I was really laughing to myself reading some of them. Yeah, because some of them I wasn't aware of. I wasn't aware of a lot of them. So yeah, I was educating myself.
Yes, brilliant. Okay, and Michael, of course, will tell us a little bit about himself. But what I know about him is he works for a lot of lawyers in Lisbon, which presumably makes you quite confident about plagiarizing other people's work on the internet.
yeah. I know a lot of copyright lawyers, so I'm usually okay. Yeah.
Fair use, and appropriation wherever we can manage that this morning. I think we've had one response already, Michael. Knows. But you've got to tell us what it is, unless that is a Portuguese word, like no sei, or is it knows? And you want us to? I mean, I guess we're opening ourselves up for all sorts of trouble here.
Yeah, we could be in deep trouble here. Actually, you know, we've started out of the gate strong, thinking that we've got to handle this, but we could be put on the spot immediately. So I've got my phone next to me with Google in case I need to be quick and no one notice.
Well, do let us know, folks. Is Ask Anything About Portugal Day. Michael in his residency here on the first Wednesday of every month, answering any questions about anything to do with Portuguese life. In some ways, the weirder the better, or the more specialist the better. We'll give it a go.
Absolutely. We love niche topics, don't we, Carl? We absolutely love niche topics.
And we never know what's going to happen. It's not like, you know, watching a mainstream media channel where they've got all the questions in beforehand because they've got a massive team of producers. We just say, hello, good morning. What are your questions? And we take it from there. So you know who you're dealing with. Michael, could you just tell us briefly a little bit about yourself and what you do in Lisbon?
Yeah, of course. So well, I'm originally from Norwich. Very happy about that because we've just got promoted to the Premier League again. So I had to plug Norwich City in there very quickly. I've been living in Portugal for it'll be 7 years at the end of this month. So it's been quite a while now. I've seen quite a lot of changes in the country, and it's been an absolute pleasure to have been here all this time. And yeah, basically I have a consultancy business called Avanlight, and we provide all sorts of services to law firms, usually big corporate law firms, but we do sometimes work with smaller firms as well. And it's really about helping them generate more business, improve their visibility, their reputation, you know, through marketing and PR. And we work with firms in Portugal, but also in other countries as well. But we sometimes work with other types of organizations, and, you know, it also advise individuals looking to relocate to Portugal. So if anyone ever wants to get in touch to discuss anything related to Portugal, I'm very happy to speak with them. So yeah, that's basically me.
Excellent, fantastic. And I should take that it's a bit misleading, that comment on the screen, isn't it? No, people, what? David Guest?
Yeah. They could be making fun of my big nose. You never know, right? It'll be passive aggressive.
Flies. Oh, okay. Nose, like, oh yeah, okay, thank you. Right, and I should say I met Michael through a fantastic, not a workshop, what was it, an event, Invest in Lisboa.
It was Startup Lisboa.
Right. An amazing course, really. 2 or 3 days, as I recall, right in the heart of things in Lisbon, and encouraging people to start businesses in Lisbon mainly. But we see here some of your colleagues, I think, or at least one of them. I met Miguel Fonch on that course as well. He's an important person, of course, in Lisbon, executive director at Startup Lisboa, top colleague. And this is coming, I just wanted to mention it because it reminded me of where I met you. And this is also happening today. Kitty Jones Real estate PR expert is moderating. Jeffrey, Miguel, and our friend from who we've had on the show before, Chitra Stern, who is CEO at Martignal Resorts, who we'll be telling you more about in due course as well. And of course, when we spoke to her, it was about the United Lisbon International School. So I think these are the circles you mix in, right, in Lisbon?
Yeah, well, interestingly, I've never met Jeffrey actually, which is astonishing because he's one of the only English lawyers in Portugal that's registered both with the English and the Portuguese bar. But he probably doesn't have a need for my services because he's so visible and works so much with the UK that he's created a nice little niche with his firm, and
Yes.
they do everything really for mainly for expats. Yeah, do all sorts of things. But yeah, it's a good it's a good bunch of people you got there, and yeah, I don't work with Startup Lisboa anymore, but I did help them out on a couple of occasions, and that was when we met. And yeah, I think of all things I was doing cultural. Oh, what was it? Oh, I can't remember now what it was. What was I talking to you about?
It was about understanding Portuguese culture, and
Oh yeah, and I'm sure I was really diplomatic about it as well.
you were very about it, but you still, this is your great skill. I think you managed to get your points across whilst remaining very diplomatic. I imagine the Foreign Office will be on to you at some point in your career. If you could help out as well. So that's today, 3 o'clock or 3 p.m. BST anyway, May the 5th today, of course, if you want to still sign up for that and take part. So let's talk about, well, any of your questions here. They are coming in already this morning. You might want to sort of prime people a little bit with perhaps your favorite words and phrases, Michael. And
Yeah.
the celebration, I mean, part of what you told me on that course was, and what surprised me was how widely spoken Portuguese is.
That's right. That's right. So I'm not sure exactly where it comes in the rankings, but it's spoken by over, I think, 250 million people globally. Obviously, Brazil makes up a large proportion of that, but then you have, aside from Portugal, you have a number of countries in the Lusophone speaking world which speak Portuguese as their first language or official language, and you've got them there. So you've got Angola. Let's see if I can get them all in order. So you've got, yeah, this will be an interesting one. So I think the one on the far left is Angola, then Brazil. Okay, I might come unstuck here now. That could be Timor-Leste, the third one.
Yeah.
Guinea-Bissau. Yeah, I'm gonna come unstuck here with the flags, but I can tell you what they are. So you've got Angola and Mozambique. I think Mozambique is the green, and no, I'm not even gonna try. So you have you have Angola and Mozambique, Guinea-Bissau, Sao Tome and Principe, and then you also have Equatorial Guinea, which is a Spanish former colony, but it also has Portuguese as one of its official languages. And then you have Macau in China, and Timor-Leste, which used to be called East Timor, but now they use the Portuguese term for it, in Southeast Asia. So yeah, that's all of them, I think. And Cape Verde as well. Sorry, that was the one I'd forgotten, but now referred to as Cabo Verde. And they're all very different. It's extremely interesting. And obviously, if you live in Lisbon or Porto, you're more likely to meet people from those countries, either first generation or second generation or third generation, indeed.
Yeah.
Yes, it's really interesting to sort of see the different cultural things and the language as well. So, for example, one thing I know about Mozambique is that they call breakfast matabicho, which means kill the bug.
Really?
So there's a few funny kind of differences in the various interpretations of the language in the different Lusophone speaking countries. But
that's great. So I'm off to kill the bug, as in, just put an end to this hunger.
Yeah, exactly. That's my interpretation of it anyway. And obviously, it gives Portugal a fantastic gateway into these markets from a business point of view as well. So often, let's say if we're talking about UK investment, the British ambassador in Angola will speak regularly with his or her counterpart in Portugal to try and drum up ways in which UK businesses that come to Portugal can then go to other parts of the Lusophone speaking world. And obviously there's a number of sectors that are there. So yeah, when we talk about Portugal, we have to include Obviously, we haven't included the Azores and Madeira in that because that's part of that's part of the autonomous regions of Portugal. They include that.
Yeah. Well, there's the link anyway. If you want to find out more at UNESCO, it's today, Portuguese Language Day, officially May the 5th, all over the world. And of course, potentially celebrated by over 250,000 Portuguese speakers. And there's the link for you, which reminds us that we are broadcasting live on Twitter these days,
Nice.
which has been quite good fun. And I haven't had any of the worst aspects of humanity yet.
No, I'm surprised you haven't been trolled yet at all. Any dodgy? If I'm a bit worried about this morning because I WhatsApped a few of my friends. I don't normally do this to say I was going to be on here and that they could ask live questions. Then I thought I may have made a mistake there. So hopefully you don't get anything dodgy come through.
We'll see. Yes, I think we need to watch out for people getting us to say things in Portuguese. We'll be really attentive to that. Let's say hello to a few people who are saying hello to us this morning. Thank you very much for doing that, everybody, including Jordinja. Bom dia a todos. Oh, and I should say before that, the first comment today is a link to Mia Esmires, her super course, her ultimate Portuguese language course, which we've organised a big discount on that. It's for people who want to just immerse themselves and dive in. And I think the claim she makes is that if you put the work in, it helps you learn Portuguese in 6 months. And there's a nice big discount on that. And we get a little bit of an affiliate cut on there as well. So, and so use that link to take advantage of that particular promotion there with the wonderful Mia Esmires, who will be with us again soon and help us with our Portuguese as we're dabbling in this morning. Carlos Vitor saying, Tudo numa boa. That's a new one on me. I'm not sure exactly what I'm getting that as a hi, how you doing, sort of good day to you. How would you literally translate that, Michael?
Everything is good, I think, something like that.
Tudo numa boa. Okay, well, take that and run with it as well. Paul Richards in Aragut, high 10 degrees. Oh, not a high 10 degrees, but high. Or maybe it is a high 10 degrees. And sunny.
I thought he was giving his address there for a minute there, when it looked like it was the postcode. But no,
he got us mixed up with Uber Eats on his browser.
Yeah.
Okay. Sunny in Harrogate this week. Good to hear it. And PT looks. I'm not sure. Maybe it's looking like Portugal this morning over there in Harrogate. Yorkshire temperatures, though, maintaining themselves, I think, over there. And still, I think we need to find out what nose is in Portuguese. Or maybe we could ask somebody else to do that for us this morning and have a bit of fun in the comments. Thank you for that, David. Jim White, good morning from Baltimore. 18 degrees over there in Baltimore at the moment. Robin R, hello from Midwestern US, 3 a.m. Oh, yawn. But I couldn't.
Robin, that is dedication. Incredible.
Proper dedication. That's fantastic. Thank you, Robin. So we'll prioritize your questions because of your amazing effort there at 3 a.m. in the morning. Will Thompson, our mate Will Thompson is here. How are you doing, Will? Let us know. Jordinja's back with favourite word, pinhal. It's got a nice ring to it. I have a bit of a thing about pine forests, and the Portuguese noun is small but perfectly formed. Pinhal there, pine. Fantastic. Gary Austin, Bon dia alegria. Carl and Michael, you're both looking resplendent this morning.
Wow.
Well, that is nice.
Blushing, Gary. Thank you.
From Alvagra this morning. Bon dia all from Melissa. How are you this morning, Alyssa? I've been helping me so much with my growing affection for Setúbal, actually, and talking to people about Setúbal, which between you and me, Mike, I don't know what you think of this. I'm predicting it being an ever-developing expat hotspot of a number of reasons. Would you agree?
Yeah, definitely. I think that's the plan. They're going to sort of try and turn it into like a mega city kind of thing, which will have a lot of advantages, right? Because from an infrastructure point of view, it's almost like they can just extend it. And the challenge is the transport to Lisbon, because at the moment there's one train line and it's very slow and it's very expensive as well. So if the government fulfill the promises they've been making with the infrastructure in Portugal, because they've been talking about a high-speed train from Lisbon to Porto, which would be a game changer. And then if they did one from Setúbal to Lisbon as well, because it's a lot cheaper to live there compared to central Lisbon, right? So it could become a new hub. And I think for bigger companies that are thinking about relocating, it's a really good choice to have an office there. So I think that's what will drive it. And there's obviously that big airport in Montijo that's being developed on that side of the river as well. So yeah, I've always got to plug in Montijo. Not that I have any conflict of interest there, but you know why. So yeah, it's a fascinating thing to see. You know, we don't often get the chance to witness something like that in real time, right? In this day and age, so I'm really excited. And same as you, I'm optimistic that it will become a new sort of big city.
So much going for it, really. Sesimbra, Arabada National Park.
Yeah.
You can get down to the south easily. And,
Yes.
and the railway line you're referring to, is that the Fatagush line? Is
Yes.
that's considered slow and expensive? Is it? Because my experience of it, I really loved it. I mean, being able to travel on the railway from the south of the Tagush across the April 25th bridge in the morning into work, absolute joy.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it depends, and I think it might have got worse since you did that journey, Carl. But I know a few people that do it every morning or did pre-COVID, and they would tell me that that it was quite slow, quite expensive, and they be a lot of people on the platforms. But
yes, it was busy for sure. They're double-decker trains, and it would be very busy at the peak times. And what I couldn't ever understand is, as we were going across the bridge, and you see Lisbon in all its glory, going from the south of the river to the north of the river, and you see the sunshine, on that beautiful face of Lisbon there. Yeah. And I just wanted to shout on the train, "Look, everybody, it's Lisbon!"
I know.
Everyone's just looking at their phones or reading their newspaper, like they're going off to the daily grind. It was quite something to be able to contain myself on the train.
Yeah, I was the same towards the end of my time living on the South Bank. And as ever, you only discover these things right at the last minute when you don't need them. So I discovered the boat from Casillas.
Oh yes.
Oh mate, it takes 8 minutes to get to Caixa de Sodré, and it's so efficient. And I don't know how they turn it around so quickly because it's a big old boat.
It's amazing.
And everyone on there, and yeah, I'll be the idiot looking out the window, grinning like, "Oh my god, this is incredible!" And everyone else just because it's what you're used to every day, right? And then there's a restaurant right next to the port station.
Farol. The Farol.
Yeah, Farol. Oh mate, it's so good, isn't it? The fresh,
really good. Seafood in there is incredible. The waiters in there are really brilliant as well.
Old school waiters.
Yeah, and quite incredible restaurant and full of Portuguese people. So you're onto a good thing with the view of the ferry, a view of the bridge, and looking across over, eating your beautiful seafood meal, fresh seafood, looking at the other side of the water there and the beautiful sunshine on the buildings, as I say. An incredible experience. And Casillas itself is incredible too. I think.
Yeah, I had a couple of clients down in Caixa de Sodré, and I used to always book meetings with them at like 11 a.m. And then it would get to 12:30, and I'd be like, "Sorry guys, I've got to go." And I'd run to the ferry to get the ferry, so the boat would arrive in Casillas dead on 1 o'clock, and then I'd go and have lunch there and chill for a couple of hours, and that was the perfect day.
What a joy! Message us if you want the details for that restaurant. But it's the Farol, Farol, and just mention Michael's name and you'll be treated like a king, I suspect. Hola, bon dia from us here in the sun near Southampton. Do you know anything new about the changes to SCF? So there has been a change, hasn't there? They're reorganising after some pretty bad publicity, has to be said. Have you got anything to report on that? Because I haven't at the moment. Only what I've seen in the
Well, I don't know if Paul's referring to the fact that there's going to be a new service where it's going to be done in English for the first time, because that was the biggest complaint that foreigners had. Yeah, that they'd either not be treated very well, or the public staff would purposely make life difficult for them by not speaking in English, even though probably some of them can.
Yes.
And to a certain extent, I can understand it. It's like, well, why should they speak English if we're in Portugal, right? But I think, that they've obviously cottoned on to the fact that there's actually quite a lot of people coming to Portugal, and it's good business for the country. So I believe they've released a new service which is exclusively in English and online, and it's just a lot more efficient. So if that's what Paul's referring to, which I suspect it might be, then that's good news for anyone coming over to Portugal, because it can be quite a complicated bureaucratic system to navigate, and obviously if you can do it in English, that just makes it a lot easier.
Yeah, well, there is a news story link that I've put in the comments there with this one here, where all change at Portugal's SCF Borders Agency. Now that's on the kind of infrastructure side, how they're organising themselves following that awful death of a Ukrainian man at the hands of 3 SCF border guards at Lisbon Airport some time ago. But that was pretty grim, and I think they probably sort of reordered and reorganised themselves to address that. But I think also, what Michael's saying there, the changes to make it easier to come in the country are also afoot as well, I suspect. Hope that helps a little bit there, Paul. And again, go to the forum. Always good to get the hive mind of the Expats Portugal.com/community. That's the forum address, and I'm sure people will have been gleaning a picture together among themselves there about SCF. Good morning to you, Paul, by the way. How easy is the Portuguese language test for citizenship? Andrew is asking us this morning, Michael.
It's very easy, but I don't believe it's a requirement anymore. I think they've removed it. I think so. I can't remember who told me, but yeah, I think it's no longer a requirement. Back in the day, you had the choice of doing it verbally or written, and I mean it's very, 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 very basic. A friend of mine who's lived there for a while now, he did it, and he did the oral one, and he basically said, obviously his Portuguese is very good, so like after 3 or 4 questions back and forth, the guy was like, yeah, no problem. So I think they just want to see that you've made some kind of effort to understand the basics. So it is very, very basic, but I don't believe it's a requirement anymore. I could be wrong. So Andrew, forgive me if I'm giving you misinformation, but I have heard from someone in the past that it's no longer a requirement. If it is still a requirement, don't worry, it's not hugely challenging, but worth having some courses in Portuguese just to make sure you've got the basics. But if you're feeling brave, it might be better to do the oral exam.
Yes, okay, but good form anyway. Learn the language, for heaven's sake.
Yeah. Regardless of the test, I mean, learn the language and integrate yourself in the local culture. Otherwise, what's the point in being here?
Yeah, that's a very interesting news to me, though, Michael, about how it might be dropped. And you would expect that, wouldn't you? The direction of travel would be to make it easier and easier to come into the country, and more sort of economically expedient as well. That tends to be the trend, doesn't it, in a country that's keen to get to the sort of cutting edge of its world.
I think it's more to do with the logistical thing, though. I think it was delaying a lot of. Yeah. It was delaying a lot of people getting their citizenship, not because they were failing the exam, but because they didn't realize that when you did the process, booking the exam could take between 6 months and a year. So people are getting all their paperwork sorted and thinking, right, I'll become Portuguese. And it's, I know you need to book the language exam, but the next one isn't available for another 6 months. So that was causing a huge delay to the process. So I think that may have been just someone senior going, do you know what, let's just get rid of the test, and then we put all these people through. I think it was one of those.
That's really very interesting. So we will keep an eye on that and let you know. And I'm thinking as well, there's a great comedy series in there, isn't there? Can you imagine how world weary and jaded somebody who's been testing foreigners on their Portuguese would be?
Oh, mate, we should do it. That would be amazing. That would be so funny.
Because we've all met some what's the word? These kind of dry, humoured people, aren't they, who work in the bureaucracy? Yeah. And you can see there's a little bit of a twinkle behind their stony face. And I'm imagining it's that sort of character who's just like, okay, another day at the office. This is the person on the train going across from the south of the river to the north of the river to the testing centre, and they have to sit there all day listening to making a mess.
I mean, that's why it's worth thinking about outsourcing the process to someone, because what they do. So I use the lawyer to take care of my permanent residency. And she was amazing. So she turned up with me at the SEF, knew everyone because she goes there all the time. But ironically, the person dealing with us, she didn't know. And they were asking for paperwork that I didn't have, that they had the legal right to ask me. And she said to me, she sort of whispered in my ear, we might need to get this, but let's try it. And she just charmed her. She kept on distracting her by oh, I love your nails and I love your earrings. Yeah, but in a really elegant way. And then she was like, right, we've got this, that, like paper, just completely like just did a job on her, and she just stamped it, smiled, like you said, she broke that facade that they have to keep, saw the twinkle in the eye, and got it done. So it is worth considering that, just for peace of mind, and knowing you've got someone who's just going to avoid any potential, sort of hiccups happening. But yeah, honestly, it was a beautiful thing to watch, mate. It was amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, fantastic. A fantastic legal bedside manner there. And of course, we have to remember, don't we? These are people, these are our fellow human beings who work in an office all day. And let's face it, not the, quite a repetitive job, and dealing with the public. Who would want to do that all day, every day? And quite stressed people, obviously. They're a bit edgy, aren't they? Looking for their, if they're going to do it or not. So yeah, show some love to those folks. And yes,
if I could just add another anecdote there, Carl, as well. So one of the things that they will ask you when you, not necessarily your permanent residency, but when you apply for Portuguese nationality, one of the things that they will look at is what ties you have to the country.
Okay.
Obviously, property helps, but more importantly, they're looking at, are you a member of a gym? Is there something you're doing on a regular basis that is actually helping the community? And I was talking to my lawyer about it, and she was asking me, okay, so when we do your Portuguese nationality, what have you got? And I said, well, I've got my Benfica membership, because I've been a member for 6 years. And she said, perfect, that's done, job done. So it is worth, just thought I'd plug the football in there again, as you know, I'm a big fan. It is worth considering, bearing in mind what you can do on paper anyway, to show that you are embedded in the local culture. And what better way to do it than to, pick a local sports team? It doesn't have to be football. And
but you have to be a bit more than those MPs who like learn the price of milk and pick a football team just to be down with the people.
Exactly. You have to be a little bit more credible.
Because it might be that you're saying that to a fellow fan. And they'll flush you out straight away if you're not
exactly. It's like, if you went to an Iron Maiden concert the first time with an Iron Maiden t-shirt, but you've only heard Fear of the Dark once, they're gonna properly call you out, aren't they? So you've got to be careful.
We have created controversy this morning. I have had a comment in, but it's still a low-level requirement. So it might be that what you've suggested there is coming in. It was either a sort of government-level suggestion, or it's happened in some parts but not others. But we'll keep an eye on that, because that's a very key thing, obviously, for anybody. And thank you for that question, Andrew, asking how hard, easy is the Portuguese language test for citizenship. Great question, and we will be keeping an eye on that. And I think already people are being a bit, I'm not going to use the word lazy, but Sean, you used to say bon dia, and now you're saying good morning, as though you were, not needing to pass the test anymore. Come on, everyone. It's bon dia alegria here, first thing in the morning. Good morning to you, Sean. Hope you're well. Bon dia from Perafita on today, World Portuguese Language Day. And we didn't say it. I mean, I'm hoist on my own petard there, because I should have said Dia Mundial da Língua Portuguesa. So I've just been told on an email.
Good, Carl.
That is a very good email to get from work as well, isn't it? I wonder what happens there. Have they got Portuguese alerts especially for you there, Peter Robinson? Bon dia from a cool, cloudy and windy. I was going to say a windy Wiesbaden. Trying to be truly German there, but a windy Wiesbaden. Yeah. Hope you're healing well there, Jim. Question from Will now. My question is: a crime of necessity applicable in Portugal and Europe? Oh, this is interesting. I will be representing myself tomorrow to argue I was highlighting crime against humanity to help the population. Now, I may be wrong here, Will, but and I hope you don't mind me saying this. I mean, basically, you put it on Facebook yourself when I first saw it, so I don't think I'm giving any secrets away, but Will feels very strongly about the what's gone on with the pandemic and with COVID-19, and daubed his local freguesia office, and I think was involved in the cleanup operation thereafter. But there still looks like there's a charge to answer. You work with lawyers, but you're not a lawyer or a legal expert, so I don't know if you know the answer to this. But crime of necessity, have you ever heard of that defence in Portugal before, Michael?
Well, I'm not a lawyer, as you rightly said, but also my clients are all corporate lawyers. So unfortunately, when it comes to these things, I'm not hugely, it's not hugely at the tip of my fingers. So I can't really help out there.
Well, we wish you the best, Will, with that, and
Yeah.
defending yourself as well. That's going to be quite an amazing day in court. So keep us informed of what goes on with there. I can do nothing but admire your passion and the level that you took that to, Will. It's quite amazing.
It'll come down to the judge you have,
Yes.
probably, because that's the key difference with the system here compared to the UK, is that there aren't barristers and there aren't juries, so lawyers can actually go to court as well as practice law as solicitors, and it's a judge they have to convince, just one person. So.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay, interesting. So good luck with that, Will, tomorrow. Can you recommend a lawyer for Golden Visa? Go to our business directory, Alex, for sure, and talk with Daniel Reyes and Pelicano, and of course the team at Gilda's team, Gilda Pereira, EI. That combo we always recommend in that situation, and I'll put the link to our business directory in the comments soon. Hi guys from Scott Clover this morning. We know Scott.
Yes.
I met Scott and Michael through you, Michael.
Yes.
Listen to this. You're my two favourite English blokes living in Portugal. Perhaps we should call that slot this on the first Wednesday. Your two favourite English blokes. I don't want to be too presumptuous, but thank you, Scott, and good morning to you. Hope you're well.
Good morning, Scott.
Hola, bon dia from Paul and Louise over there in the UK. Good morning from the sunny Ribatejo. The sunny Ribatejo this morning from Thomas. Good morning to you, Thomas. Thomas, I hope you'll be with us tomorrow evening at the Ask Our Expats session, where we get a few of the Ask Our Expats team on a webinar. And a similar format to this, but you'll be able to get a room, as it were, with each of them, or in pairs, and quiz them on their locality and lifestyle. It's a great evening. Andrew Bryant is saying, hold on a minute, people speaking Portuguese in Goa is a myth, says Andrew. Okay, I can understand why that might be the case.
But that's not true. So I actually know someone whose family are from Goa. And she's Portuguese, half Indian from Goa. And I do know there is a community of Portuguese speakers there. Just probably it's not that big. So that may be, if Andrew's been there, he may not have seen, encounters. But there are a number of people.
Probably raving on the beach in the morning, and it's probably not good.
Oh yeah, I wouldn't know anything about that, Carl, but yeah, probably.
Me neither, but so I understand. There's probably not much Portuguese spoken at a wonderful sunset with some chill out beats going on in the back. You probably can just ask for a fresh coconut in English there, I suspect, quite safely in the morning there. Ian, good morning to you. Oh, we've already spoken to you, haven't we, Andrew? But thank you for that. Bon dia todos. Beautifully sunny here this morning after storms the last couple of days, warming up according to the forecasting. That will be in Hertfordshire. And our UNESCO link about the International Portuguese Language Day. Robin R. Money conversion. Best way to access my US dollars and get the best conversion rate to euros. Transfer-wise, ATM. Talk to our partner Spartan FX. But this is an interesting question, isn't it, about which cash machines to avoid, Michael? It can be painful, can't it?
Yeah, especially the one when you get to the airport. Just don't use it. Yeah, because they'll charge you a huge. Whenever you see Euro money at ATMs, just do not use them because they will obliterate you with commission.
It's the blue and yellow ones. I mean, they stand out, don't they? And you obviously want to get some cash when you arrive, but avoid it at all costs if you can.
Whenever you are withdrawing money, and I think most people are aware of this, but whenever you're withdrawing money abroad, if you're say accessing it from your bank at home, be that the UK, the US, whatever, never accept their conversion rate. Always withdraw it in the local currency because you'll always get less commission. So yeah, always be aware of that option as well. And I know you recommended your experts on that, Carl, which is great. And Robin, definitely speak to them. And what I would say is that it very much depends on the amount that you want to transfer. So if it's a large amount, say to buy a house here, then it's worth using a foreign exchange expert because they'll be able to get you the best rate. Whereas if you're talking about, just sort of a few $1,000s, you're not going to save a huge amount depending on who you use. So it's probably not going to make a big difference. But for a large amount, then it's worth talking to a foreign exchange broker who can do that for you.
Absolutely. Such as our mates, talk to Sarah Davey, who we have on the show from time to time from Spartan FX. You know how personable she is. And we talked about the strangest of things, like minimalism and hoarding, because she was moving house recently. And sausage maker attachments, I think, came into the conversation. Weird. Use multi-banco, says John Smith. I mean, yeah, that's the thing to do, is use Portugal's very own multi-banco system for the best deals. And going back to what Michael says, that it will say, do you want to convert? And you say no. And he said, and then they ask you again, doesn't it? You can see how desperate they are to do the conversion and then the commission. Are you sure you don't want us to convert?
Yeah.
Interesting. And I also recommend Revolut. I think the Revolut card is an amazing new force in banking. Very easy to get a Revolut card, and you basically trade currency yourself. Inside the app and other things, stocks, shares, cryptocurrency and stuff, but widely used as well in Portugal on MasterCard is the Revolut system. And there are other things available, aren't there, along in these new sort of banking unicorns? I don't know if you've got another recommendation with those, Michael, or are you fully immersed in the Portuguese banking system now?
I'm fully immersed, but I'm starting to get a bit peeved at the charges.
Oh,
so, yeah.
Go on. Say more.
Well, no, it's just that there's always charges for all sorts of things, which you just, because it's always a couple of euros, you don't think much of it, but then when you look at it and add it up, it's quite a lot. So I'm considering change. I won't say who I'm banking with, because that wouldn't be fair. But I'm looking at changing my personal and my business bank, because I think they're taking me for a ride.
They charge you a standing €8 a month, don't they, with a lot of the banks here, and then a little bit these little fees, little weird fees, which I've never been able to figure out exactly what they are. But in a world of free banking, it does seem rather antiquated.
Yeah, I mean, the system is very easy to use, and the multi-banco is amazing because you can pay for everything using the multi-banco system, and it works very, very well. But it is expensive compared to other countries. You have to pay a fee, which in other countries you don't have to.
Ativo, I think, is a good tip, isn't it? Millennium are getting the idea, and they've got an offering, Ativo, which I think is a little bit fleeter of foot in terms of internet usage, but I think cheaper as well. But we'll do a special on that at some point, inevitably, comparing the cost of banks. And I think it's an ever-changing scene as well. They're dinosaurs, but I think they are moving ever so slowly. With the likes of Revolut in the market, it's causing that. Going back to Cape Verde, Louise loves the music of Cesaria Evora. I must look that up. There's going to be some great music, isn't there, from around the world, from Portuguese-speaking countries.
We'll have to do a music. We'll have to do a music special one month, and we can talk about the different music from the different parts of the Portuguese-speaking world. That might be a fun thing to do.
Now you're talking. Yeah, the Portugal playlist we used to do. We can't do it on this platform, unfortunately, because YouTube just give us a smackdown.
Yeah, it's true.
But we have got all ways and means to do an evening show. I'd look forward to doing that with you, Michael. That'd be a lot of fun.
Let's do that one time. Yeah.
Paul Baldwin, this is a great question. Where is the best place for chicken? I don't know what you mean by chicken and packet, but I mean, let's just stick with chicken for the time being. Paul, what would you say? We've given you our seafood recommendation, which is faro. Best chicken.
Paul looks like he needs some chicken in his diet for sure. He's actually a mate of mine. He's trolling us.
Okay. Is he?
Yeah.
Good morning, Paul. Okay.
Yeah. But basically, well, for me, the best place for chicken in Lisbon is a restaurant called Valenciana, which is in Campolide, where I used to live, and it does the best chicken. It's incredible. Best frango asado you'll ever have in your life. So yeah, definitely check that out.
Frango as in roasted chicken, or the churrasquera style chicken?
No, the churrasqueria. Yeah. So they've got a huge churrasqueria there. And there's about 8 blokes who are massive, and they just barbecue chicken all day long. They have their own chicken farm with their own chickens that are sourced by them. And God knows how many chickens they sell a day. It's unbelievable. But the quality is unreal. Honestly, you will never eat a better chicken in your life.
Sounds good. What was the name of it?
It's called Valenciana.
Valenciana. Okay, that's amazing. Because I mean, the standard is very high. People obviously have fallen in love with Nando's in the UK, and presumably
forget Nando's, mate. Honestly, it's like comparing caviar and ketchup.
You know the point I'm making, though.
Yeah.
It's got a lowest common.
That's the benchmark that people from the UK have, and then they come in. It was actually on Rick Stein's program a few years ago. He actually found it, and he went there, and he did it. It was on the program for about 6 or 7 minutes. He just couldn't believe, because it's a proper local place, right?
Yeah.
And he just couldn't believe how good the frango was there.
Right, I can spell Campolide. How am I spelling that restaurant? Because I feel the need to put it into the comments.
Let me WhatsApp it to you now. Is that the best way?
Yeah, perfect. So yeah, Campolide is a good place to start anyway. And then you're looking for the chicken restaurant there. That's especially for Paul this morning. Thank you for making contact, Paul. But the thing about chicken,
he's from Peterborough, so you have to forgive him.
Oh, sorry to hear that, Paul. Now, when I first was staying in San Martino de Porto, out and about looking for something to eat one evening, and there was a shop, no writing on the front, a few people inside, a few people standing outside on the street, and just this incredible aroma of barbecue chicken. And they don't advertise. This is my first experience of barbecue chicken shop.
Don't need to. This is the thing. This is why I realised, because the smell. So I used to come out. I used to work about 5-minute walk from this place, right? And I'd come out of work on a Friday, like Thursday or Friday evening, and I could smell it.
Yeah.
And you see people, like dogs, just like walking towards it. It's unbelievable. It's the best marketing.
Yeah, it really is. And then you enter into a new world of barbecue chicken, and then you've got your favorite place. In the town, every town I've gone to, that's been one of the first things for me, is to find a barbecue chicken shop. And you pop in there probably on a Friday night, maybe twice a week. Actually, last night we had the chicken and chips from our local place. And they sell the cold beers there, and you can get the oh my goodness, migash to go on the side, can't you? The fried cabbage.
Yeah.
It's just an amazing part of the culture, absolutely.
And the piri piri sauce they do, the the piri piri sauce is amazing as well.
Yep. So there you go. He's right. Michael's right. Forget about Nando's. I mean, it gives you an idea, because the idea's been stolen and taken to the UK and turned into a chain. But it's just an entirely different vibe when you're here in Portugal. Check it out. Prosecco Peggy in the house with Frank and Rachel and Dave. How lovely to have you folks all together there in the Algarve. Oh, it's made me cough. I'm so excited. Pardon me. If anyone's interested in sailing, the Finn Gold Cup is being held in Porto this coming week. That's interesting for Portugal. Formula One last week, and the big Finn Gold Cup in sailing this week. World-class yacht racing in the boat. Saben won 4 Olympic golds. Excellent stuff. Thank you for that, Ian. From Mark in Australia, good morning to you both. Lots of lovely questions. We'll do our best to rattle through these. This is a bit spooky. It says Expats Portugal channel, and I didn't put it in there. But good morning, Michael. Do you still have that big shiny thing in the Lisbon sky? Weather check, please, in Lisbon at the moment. Oh, and that's
sun's shining this morning.
I think that might be Jerry, mightn't it? Your fellow.
There we go. He's trolling me because of the light, right? Oh, that's good banter, mate.
I think he is. Yes, yeah. That's Jerry, isn't it? Coming through on Expats Portugal channel there. You were unlucky. Central Portugal, of course, won in the final there against you, but you put in a manful effort, and we appreciate that, Michael. Bearders 22. Bom dia todos. I grew up in Rhodesia, Zimbabwe in the 60s and 70s. We regularly used to go to Mozambique to the seaside resort of Beira. Which Portuguese word, of course, isn't it? That's where I got my first taste for peri peri. What a lovely memory there, Bearders 22.
Very good. Yeah, my uncle was born in Zimbabwe.
It is amazing. I mean, I met a very unassuming, gentle, Silver Coast Portuguese man the other day. Just the typical Portuguese fella, very unassuming, really warm and friendly, and he lives basically in the countryside. And he was telling me about his time in Angola. So many people in Portugal have spent time in Africa, haven't they? Either with military service or business or with corporations. It's quite incredible.
Yeah, then you've got that generation that they call the retornados, which means those who have come back after the independence was granted in '74, I think it was, and you had a lot of Portuguese that returned from the colonies to Portugal. A couple of million, I think.
Incredible.
So yeah, pretty incredible.
Yeah. And all as is the way in the world at the moment, all the sort of political recriminations that are going on at the moment, to do with colonialism. It's a fascinating time. It really is, and an incredible part of Portuguese history. Peter Robinson, I have 5 questions in Portuguese to answer. from
All right,
Portuguese.
go on then. Let's try and help you out, mate. We're not making any promises.
But,
We're trying to get you fired, but
yeah,
go for it.
yeah, that would be embarrassing. We'll try to get you. We don't want you to be star pupil either, because then you'll be asked to do all the Portuguese in the office. You've got to be in there maybe 4 out of 5, maybe, Peter. But we'll do what we can to. Thank you, Alyssa, for this. And I'm still not sure. Should I be saying Elisa or Elisa? I think Elisa probably in Portuguese, right? Nose would be nariz there. The first favorite word to come in. Pouring with rain in Singapore, says Andrew Bryant. Sorry to hear that, but that'll clear up. So it's probably already finished. Michael, do they still serve champagne at the Benfica Stadium? Asked Paul. Should we move on?
We'll move on.
He's doing his best. Morning from London from Colin Richardson, and a bon dia from Leslie Smith as well. Hi, Michael, says Mrs. M. Oh, but just wait, whilst we've got Mrs. M here, love you, darling. And our wedding anniversary yesterday, May the 4th. Thank you. And thank you to everybody. People were so kind yesterday in sending me messages. Really appreciate it. We had a lovely day. And I did take her to the Coimbra Forum, which my guest Pam Smith was saying, well, I hope you make it to wedding anniversary number 9 if you're doing that. But Mrs. M seemed perfectly fine in the shopping centre as a celebration of our. Not that she's a big consumer or anything, but we had a lovely time, because the shopping forums in Portugal are amazing. The view from the Coimbra Forum out across the Mondego is awesome, and a lot of them are like that, aren't they? You've got the one in Almada with the mermaid. The mermaid outside. That's hilarious, isn't it?
Yeah.
Hi, Michael. Just tuned in as I heard you and Carl chatting about that amazing farol with an L on there. Love that side of the water, says Mrs. M this morning. Nice. Favorite Portuguese word from S. Baldrick. A cunning Portuguese word. Oh, stop it. Is this another friend of yours? Mamash.
I don't think so.
I think that is boobs, though, isn't it?
Let's not answer that one.
All right, because that is the clue to why I was remarking upon the big mermaid statue outside the Almada shopping centre. Truly hilarious. Bon dia tourish from Victoria Benson. Hope you had a beautiful birthday, Victoria. More questions coming in. Thank you, everybody. Really appreciate it. Bon dia and comments, of course. Bon dia. As per Safe Communities Portugal, SCF inspectors and employees are to strike all day on Friday. So they're not happy about it. The changes at SCF. So they've been trying to do the right thing, and it's not going down well by the sound of it. Thank you, Doreen Reyes, for that. So don't try and get anything done with SCF on Friday by the sound of it. Elisa, very well. Thank you both. We'll try my best to help with the grammar in spite of being currently at work and typing from a British laptop.
Nice.
Okay, Michael will know about this. Keyboards, Michael, the transition to keyboards and accents.
Yeah. This is a really good one because... So I moved from the UK to Spain first before I came to Portugal. So it took me a couple of months to get used to a Spanish keyboard, and then came to Portugal. And the hardest one is the at. Yes. The at, which I think is Shift 2 or Alt 2. I think that's where it is on a Portuguese keyboard. And it's just loads of things are different. It's a QWERTY keyboard, right? That's the only thing that's the same, but everything else is different. So it can be quite annoying. But then beautifully in Portuguese, we have the cedilla letter, which is the C with because it's used so often, they've actually got that permanently on the Portuguese keyboard, as opposed to having to find the accent to soften the C, use the shift button. So that's the main difference.
There you go. And I have to say, we one of the things we came away from the Coimbra Forum with yesterday was a new computer. Mrs. M's absolutely driven hers into the ground with her astrology work and making her films and so on, and podcasting, and doing amazing work on it. And it's been a real workhorse. So we decided to go with, it's interesting, do people need laptops anymore? Because you're at home working at home. So we got this all in one. Sorry to be a bit geeky for the moment, but I'm amazed by the value, because this is another question that comes in for us, isn't it? Are consumer goods expensive in Portugal? Yes. Phones, laptops, computers, etc. It can be a bit of a shock for people. But for 304 of your euros yesterday, we got an all-in-one monitor with it's a 4 gig processor in it, but running Windows with a webcam. 304 euros, Michael, for a desktop.
All right, so I think you might be painting a picture that we can all see now, because the geek-ometer is going very, 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 very strongly. So you got married on May the 4th, right?
Yes, we did. No, I know where you're going with this. No. We didn't all get dressed up as we didn't have like stormtrooper bridesmaids.
Okay. I won't go any further then. But that's suspect to me. That's suspect. To me.
Yeah, because you could have, it was down the aisle. You could have, you know,
Very much.
No, it was an astrologically chosen date, which has been brilliant because it helps me remember it. So yes, but I see what you. No, I'm not. I don't think I'm very geeky. I just can't. You know, it was
You're
great.
not, you aren't at all.
Nothing wrong with that, of course. To all our geeky and nerdy friends who might
I mean, Paul, who was trolling us earlier, not only is he from Peterborough, but he's a huge fan of Battlestar Galactica as well. So I'll just put that out there for people.
Oh, that's nice. So maybe, hopefully, you'll make a few friends with similar interests in the community this morning, Paul. Thank you for joining us. Joel, a Trekkie fan, actually, while we're in that territory in Matosinhos this morning. Good morning to you, Joel. I find Portuguese is a very difficult language.
Me too. But that's what makes it all the more rewarding for you to master it.
Yeah, and whilst the grammar, the language itself is difficult, the people make that a whole lot easier. I mean, can you imagine if you were if Portuguese, and bear with me on this, but if Portuguese was the official language of France, and the attitude I've sometimes experienced from French people when you're struggling to, can you imagine if you had that attitude and the difficulty of the language together?
Do you know what? Right, I've always had this impression, and I always used to say that outside of Paris it was all fine. But you know what? I went to Paris with my grandfather a few years ago, and okay, bearing in mind he speaks fluent French and my French is okay, but they treated us really well. So I think they can be a bit, you know, off-putting about it. But even the French, if you make the effort to speak the language, they really respect it and embrace it. It's just, you know. So yeah, I think it depends on the particular day you find yourself there and what they're like. But we didn't have that impression when we were there the last time.
Well, that's how diplomatic you are, and squashing cultural stereotypes. That's very good of you, Michael. But I would add, you know, with Gemini, what Michael says there is true. Making the effort makes all the difference, and I think invariably Portuguese people will appreciate it and will try and help you, as you probably know, Gemini already. Robin, why do people become Portuguese citizens? Is it driven by economic reasons, advantages? That's a really good question. So obviously you can get your 5-year residency, but making the transition thereafter to permanent citizen. May I ask why you bothered to do that, Michael?
Well, the main thing is you can vote.
Okay.
And you don't have to give up if you're from. So it's worth checking with your home country, because certain countries you don't have to give up your home citizenship, right? So I can have dual nationality. I can be British and Portuguese. I can have a British passport and a Portuguese passport if I choose to do so. Yeah. And there are some economic reasons. I think if you're looking to buy anything that requires a mortgage or credit, then it is easier to get it if you are a citizen. If you are Portuguese national, it's just that they can sometimes be a bit difficult with you in the system if you're not registered as a Portuguese citizen. So yeah, the economic reasons are valid, and if you want to be able to vote as well. And then, you know, having a Portuguese passport, I think there was a recent ranking of passports, and it came 4th or 5th in the world of valuable passports in terms of the amount of countries you can visit without needing a visa. There's a lot of countries, yeah. So for travel purposes as well, there's definitely advantages.
So have you, with world travel, the way it's been in the last year, have you had that moment where you get all your passports out, like from a spy movie, and decide which one you're going to use when you're moving?
Something like that. Something like that.
Yeah, fantastic.
The other advantage is driving licenses as well. So I've got a friend of mine, I won't name him, but he's Portuguese and he's got dual nationality, and he's got both driver's licenses. And he says when he's driving in the UK and gets stopped, he shows his Portuguese driver's license. And then when he's driving in Portugal, he shows his English one. So avoid points.
Yeah, so okay, just on your way, just drive carefully. Is that okay? And I think it's a bit. I mean, it's a great question, Robin R, because it's a bit 80-20. I think the big advantages come just from getting your residency. rather than citizens. Let's say that, let's go Pareto on this. 80%, so much of the benefits of being in Portugal are realised by residency. And then going that extra 20% you might want to do is for the reasons Michael's given there with full citizenship.
Especially if you come from a country where you don't have to give up your nationality, then it's a no-brainer. If you do, and there are certain countries you have to, obviously that's a consideration you have to take into account, and it may mean that it makes more sense for you to have permanent residency.
Excellent. John Smith, hola, bon dia, de Yorkshire. That's great. I love you. I love a sentence that changes from Portuguese to Yorkshire by the end of it. Will's back again. I don't know what a B.1.617 is on the rise. It's up 30%. It might be a variant of COVID. Vaccination only at 13%.
Brazilian. I think he means the Brazilian variant.
Brazilian variant. Okay. Borders. I was going to say you don't want to be having a close shave with the Brazilian variant, but I won't say that. Borders are not protected. I'm going to be interviewed tomorrow by authorities. Need lawyer advice ASAP. So if there is this kind of, I think Will's probably looking at a kind of humanitarian pro bono type lawyer for this. If anyone's tuned in who might be able to help him with that for his appearance tomorrow before the beak. Bon dia from Tamar. Maria, somebody sent me a message trying to track down the I think this is how they describe it, the American lady who's starting up an Airbnb. They want to talk to you, so I'll pass that on to you. Nice. And of course, nearly there with the description, right? Tell them you're part of the wine club or man cave and you love rubber stamps. What is Gary getting at there? Is this about my nerdiness and geekiness? I think quite possibly here.
You're being told as well.
Yes, but I mean, who doesn't love a rubber stamp? And that's a very quaint and brilliant part of Portuguese culture, isn't it? That you think in this age of cutting edge digital technology, the old ink pad and rubber stamp. All the seal, the official seal of the freguesia comes out every now and then as well, doesn't it?
Everywhere. Well, even nightclubs, don't they? They punch your hand when you go outside.
It's been too long, Michael. I couldn't possibly know with that. Oh, I see. This is how to convince the Portuguese authorities that you're Portuguese. Okay, say you love rubber stamps, and they might even say to you, "Are you that guy off the man cave?" I see where you've gone with this, Gary. Gary's an absolute shoe-in. I don't know which shoe. It could be the trainer or the dress shoe, the formal shoe.
Well, Gary looks like he's in a cave from his Facebook profile photo.
I think that was taken in the spiritual home of the Good Morning Portugal man cave there. So good advice with the cultural references there, Gary. Peter saying, don't forget that I work for a company in Matosinhos. There are 2 of us from the UK, 1 from the Czech Republic, and the rest of us 200 from Portugal, Brazil, and HR have sent us all an easy Portuguese language quiz. Gulp. You'll be fine, Peter. You'll be fine, I'm sure. Barbara, bon dia from Poland this morning. I will be there. We'll see you tomorrow night. Thomas Malloy representing Ribatejo, and particularly, I think the language side, the gourmet side. He's a Renaissance man, is Thomas, and he'll be with us at Ask Our Expats session tomorrow night from 7:30 on the webinar. John Smith, we will be there tomorrow night too. Fantastic! It's a party, everybody. Bring Portuguese wine. Stephen Wells, bon dia from Stephen. Have you got any questions this morning, Stephen? You sometimes do, and excellent questions they are. Joel, clearly not an Apple fan there. Carl, you could have bought a better used PC for the same. Now he tells me, but he's got a few hacks here on the keyboard. Next to the spacer bar, press Alt GR key on the right of the keyboard for your. Oh yes, I see it now. I'm looking. It's funny, isn't it? It's in front of me every day, and I've only just realised there's an Alt GR keyboard on there. So that's a little bit of help from Joel with the differences in keyboards. And I can see that I've missed loads of comments here. There's the restaurant, Valenciana, that Michael's talking about.
I can't recommend that place enough. Honestly, you hack into the best chicken you've ever had there.
All right. Okay. Let me really catch up here because this is quite extraordinary. Thank you, everybody, for all your lovely comments. I'm just trying to find the right place, though. Yes, we'll be there tomorrow night. Oh yes, if transferring significant amounts, we get quotes. Yeah, absolutely. It's a good thing to do, isn't it? And the companies will be up for that. The FX companies, won't they? Parminda right, bon dia, not a myth. 3 Portuguese in Goa. There you go.
It's worth, just before I forget, it's worth bearing in mind that there are certain banks in the UK that don't charge for overseas transfers. I think HSBC is one of them. So if you're transferring from an HSBC account in the UK to a Portuguese bank, they don't charge anything.
Marvelous. Thank you, Michael. Bom dia. Not a myth, read Portuguese in Goa. I guess you got to go a bit inland or away from the tourist areas, possibly. Although maybe primarily, people of a certain age. So a lady in Lisbon's recent experience. Thank you, Parminder, with that. And the name De Souza, I think, I've met people from India with the name De Souza. That's a bit of a reference to the Portuguese colonial past, isn't it? Age is a funny thing. You go from raving on the beach to raging on the beach. It's too hot. If sand in my sandwiches if transferring significant amounts, we get quotes, says John. Yeah, thank you for that, John. Bonnie M. How can you ever reach SCF for an appointment? I'm online several times a day trying to make an appointment, along with calling and getting calls dropped. Bonnie, keep going and log all your calls. If you're making an effort and you've got the paper trail, what else can you do? Would you agree, Michael?
Exactly. Just keep at it.
Okay. Paul uses Revolut. Great service, good exchange rates. So the jury's out on that. Some people say the exchange rates aren't good, and the crypto buying thing is a bit punitive. But I'm a happy user. Revolut is brilliant. Agrees. Beard is 22. Same day transfers from UK to Portugal, just like the UK faster payment system. Great. Absolutely, says Thomas. The reality is the population of Goa is now dominated by people who have been born since unification with India, meaning that it's not generally a street language. However, older families keep the language alive, along with their Luso-Indian heritage. Luso is such a lovely word as well. Banking charges, agree with you both. We need a special on banking. Yeah, good call, John. Jersey, Bon dia alegria todos from New Jersey, over there in the States. Millennium offer an English-speaking person who handles your account on a personal basis. Enrique in the UK base is fantastic and so helpful. He's going to get personal calls now from us lot. That's great. So helpful to start a PT account remotely, Portugal account remotely. There you go. So your man in the Millennium, English speaking in the UK base, Enrique, tell him where you heard about him first. Fantastic. And Thomas also adding, is that Money or Moe there? .pt is another online bank with no fees for most things, an easy setup. That's a great shout from Credit. It's their equivalent of Activa Bank from Millennium. So they are getting into it slowly. Thank you for that. Joel, my suggestion is to persist with Seth. Sorry, I can't be much help on this. Not my expertise. Yeah, but what else can you do? And make that paper trail. Thanks for the recommendation on the chicken place. I've added it to my Lisbon list. Anything else, Michael, that people, whilst you're in Campolide, what else might Maria do?
Well, they reopened the 24 tram line that was discontinued for many years, and so you can actually get the tram. So if you go and have lunch in Valenciana, opposite is the tram spot. You can actually get the tram all the way downtown. So have lunch and then take the tram. That would be my advice.
Fabulous. There you go, Maria. Doreen Reyes says Cesaria Evora music is wonderful and famous worldwide. She was a friend of my grandmother. Doreen we'll have to get her on our music show. She knows so many people in the music business. It's amazing. Parminder, Thomas Malloy, Luso Indian, massively proud of the heritage there. And I imagine going to Goa with specifically Portuguese flavored sort of heritage tour would be fascinating, right?
Yeah, a good friend of mine, Margarida, her family are from Goa and Portugal, and we had dinner around hers a couple of years ago, and she made Indian food, and it was the best I've ever had. And it had that, you could tell it had that Portuguese, I don't know, it was really good, really good.
A hybrid experience, incredible. We're going into the specifics of chicken shop recommendations here. Was that the Chicken Shack in San Martino de Porto near the train station? I have been in that one, and it is very good. The first one I discovered, Gary, was up by the market, with no signs or anything, just the aroma and just people milling about getting their Friday night chicken. You guys are making me hungry.
I'm making myself hungry as well. I'm making myself.
I've only had tea and drinks this morning, and my stomach is rumbling. We've done that to ourselves. Oh my goodness, that's your ginger. I love Cesaria Evora. She was from Cabo Verde. Amazing voice. I'm going to go look her up afterwards. Andy via Austin. Can't beat the barbecue chicken meals and atmosphere in the outdoor restaurants at your local market. Yes, Andy. And a lot of love. Look at this, Cesaria Evora. Very romantic, beautiful music from Barbara. I'm here, says Susan. Hi, Susan. Don't panic. Sorry, a little of we are always calmed by your presence, and thank you for that little bit of fab humor there, Susan. My neighbor and Portuguese teacher both went to the same church in Angola. It's incredible the connection, isn't it? It really is, and so many people whose lives have been. I mean, anyone who lives or goes to Africa, I think their life is changed. But can you imagine if you as a Portuguese person, you went there in your early life and you have that memory of Africa? Quite incredible. South Africans called Rhodesians Wenowese. as they always start a conversation is when we used to live in Rhodesia. Yes, when are we? That's great. John Smith, my neighbour and Portugal. Okay, we've done that one. Here is not so good news. Okay, thank you, Joel. We can rely on it for that in a way. Will be the existing tax will be raised. Is the ISV, the Imposto sobre Veículos, and there will be a new tax called the Taxa de Carbono. Welcome to the land of the thieves.
Wow.
Not happy about that new tax there, but I guess he's got a point. The green and environmental terror that we face will show itself in finance, won't it? With taxes, we scared you about all this stuff. Now we've got to do something about it, and you'll have to pay for it as well. I think that's what Joel's getting at there. I think the champagne will be at the José Avanlight Stadium.
Most likely.
Can we have a quick football update from you, Michael?
Yeah, so basically, José Avanlight, that's the stadium of Sporting Lisbon, and they're very far ahead in the league table this year. And if they win the league this year, it will be the first time, I think, since 2001 or 2002. It's been about 20 years, because the Portuguese league in the last 15 years has been dominated by Porto and Benfica. So yeah, it's a big moment for Portuguese football. And Benfica are doing really badly. They're like third or fourth, I think.
Wow, thank you for that. And Peter's saying the best way to type foreign characters. This has been so helpful this morning, talking about the keyboard. Have a full-size British keyboard with a Windows PC and use the Alt key in combination with a numeric keypad. So the Cedilla C is Alt, and that's quite complex, isn't it? I'm going to try that. I'm going to try that live on air, right? So I'm holding down my Alt key, and I'm going to 0, 2, 3, 1, and it hasn't happened for me, unfortunately. Okay, that was.
But you've got a Portuguese keyboard, right?
No, I've got I'm sure a laptop that came, but it's not full sized. That's it. It is a British keyboard. It's not full size. Maybe that's where I'm going wrong there. I shouldn't have tried that. I shouldn't have risked it live on air. But thank you for that, Peter. What was the name of the restaurant? I think that was the Avalanciana.
Yeah, Valenciana. And Farol if you want the fish one.
Farol for fish at Casillas. And have a little wander around Casillas because it's amazing. Yeah. I liked your Brazilian close shave joke, Carl. Thank you, Paul. It seems to have gone noticed by everyone else. Yes, I mean, it may be just a little bit too puerile and predictable. But you and me, Paul, can take some comfort in that. If you have a house and sell it while you have NHR, will you save any tax? Only if you registered, right, Michael?
Yeah. But I'm not sure if... I mean, there's different ways you can be tax efficient with selling and buying property. So I could, speak to one of the experts in your forum, or by means, we can have a chat about that.
Yeah, and Daniel Ray's for sure. Now, the thing about this is that it's best to do it looking forward rather than trying to retro save money. If you're with me, it's good. It's really. I mean, for those of you who aren't down the road a little bit, the likes of me and Gary here, and certainly Michael, who's been here for many years, think about this as you're coming here. How you set that all up, and it will save you a lot of stress and missed opportunity. This will be my recommendation. I went to a wedding in Goa a few years ago, but that was lovely. Amazing mix of Portuguese, Catholicism, Indian. Yes, so much of Goa locals with Portuguese names. Yeah, de Souza for one. Revolut is excellent. We use it not for crypto though. I don't think you can transfer out to your own wallet. No, you can only trade your Ninja. That's well said. Colin Richardson. Which app is best to book restaurants local restaurants in Portugal? Isn't it? Aren't Portuguese Best Friends the best app for Portuguese restaurants?
There's a few. There's the Fork is used quite a lot, but best to just call them up, Colin, on the phone. Old school, mate. Do it old school, and you'll get a better table. So yeah, you wanna call them yourself. Don't use them.
And ask your Portuguese friends. That's the way, isn't it? Because the thing about apps, I suppose, I mean, unless they're sort of truly a word of mouth thing, is that sort of biggest buck wins so often in those realms. It's the word of mouth you want, isn't it? But Fork would be, if to answer Colin's question, Fork is one of those booking apps, is it?
Yeah.
Okay, fantastic. Mark, congrats on your anniversary. You are lucky she signed on for she did sign on for another year. I was talking yesterday, Michael, about this. What Louisa and I do is we decide if we want to stay married for another year like Druids do. And I was thinking I was thinking of adding another clause last night. If it's possible to also negotiate a request to stop doing an irritating habit for the year ahead. Am I making it sound a little bit too negative and miserable, married
Yeah,
life?
you're going down a road of conversation I don't feel comfortable participating in, to be honest with
Okay,
you.
okay, let's move on. Thank you, Maria Costa, for that link. I don't feel comfortable participating in. Good morning, Carl and Michael. I look forward to talking to you later today, says Debbie Doos. Exciting. Looking forward to your advice.
Yeah, we're talking later. Really looking forward to that as well. I apologise to Debbie because we've been trying to speak for a while. And that's entirely my fault, but we're going to talk today. I promise.
Excellent, great stuff. Maria Costa, we saw her in New York City. It was epic. That's not Debbie. We're talking about the lovely Cape Verdean singer there, whose name just escapes me for the moment. Do forgive me on that. I'm trying to find it in the call. Yes, Cesaria Evora is who was seen in New York City, and it was epic. Sounds lovely, doesn't it? And we do like recommendations for Portuguese music and Portuguese gigs. The Portuguese current debt is to be cleared, says Joel, in 80 years from now. That's 3 generations paying taxes for the thieves I have to call politicians. Ain't that the case in every country in the world? I mean, this is what we learned from Kate Gimblett, wasn't it? That, you know, you can't look at government debt in the same way as you do domestic debt. It is something that gets kicked down the street long after politicians have come and done their worst. I don't know if you'd agree with that analysis, Michael. No, don't want to. So marriage and politics. Should we just stay out of those 2 areas this morning?
I think it's best. I think it's best to avoid them. Yeah.
Superb. Okay. I prefer, says Joel, going to a Tashka. Pay 5 to 10 euros, have a good field plate, enjoy the meal, leave happy, then go to any of those fancy, expensive places and pay 30 times more just for a grain of rice and a sample of meat. There's a proper Portugueser putting down the haute cuisine there in one go, preferring Tashka life. As we conclude today, Michael, could you tell us a little about, you're the man on Portuguese culture. Tell us a little about the Tashka vibe, who might not know what that means.
Yeah, so it's basically like, well, the other the other thing I like about Lisbon is and it exists in other parts of Portugal as well, the kiosks, right? So you'll see that if you go down like Avenida Liberdade is a famous one, so it's the main avenue that goes through Lisbon, and you've got a number of kiosks or kioscos, as the Portuguese call it, which are sort of littered down the avenue, and basically it's like imagine like a hut, like a round hut that has a bar, and they sometimes serve food as well. And there's like a loo behind it with a key that you ask for, so you can sort that out as well. And loads of outside seating to eat and drink, and it's really informal, really good. And some of the ones on the Avenida, sometimes they have live music and a DJ playing music on Friday evenings. So yeah, that's sort of my favorite part of Portuguese life. And then the Tascas are like those smaller restaurants that serve like 2 or 3 really like wholesome Portuguese, filling meals where they fill your plate to the brim. Especially if you get a bitoque. Bitoque is my favorite. It's just like piece of steak, egg, rice, chips, and salad, all on a plate for about 6-7 euros, and it just absolutely sorts you out.
I haven't had that for ages. Can you explain to us the difference between a bifana and a bitoque?
Well, bifana is just a meat sandwich. So
right, okay.
Bifana is a meat sandwich, and then a bitoque is the steak with the egg and the rice and the chips and the salad.
A bitoque and roll. We could have a little. We could go on a tour tasting bitoques around the country with photographs. That's something we should do at some point. Definitely. Robin R says, we're the best entertainment ever at 4 a.m. We do appreciate you staying awake for this.
Robin.
Thank you, Robin. I once read in a Paris publication that Cesaria had more worldwide sales than the Beatles. It's very possible. It's very interesting, isn't it? This sort of a music industry centric view of music and what gets reported and what doesn't. New coming to Revolut, you can move Bitcoin around, and we have, as well as banking, we've got to do a cryptocurrency special. But I know you guys are quite secretive and might not want to be on screen and crazy stuff like that. But we must do an introduction to cryptocurrency for people. Maybe start a little investment club. Does Michael have the right to remain silent? As Michael's twice now, he just knows. I mean, he's an intelligent fella. It's about being smart, I think, more than anything else. From my point of view. Bon dia todos from Antonio F. Stephen Wells, that is not a thing here. Cops most of the times get hit by those they're trying to arrest. Not uncommon. Come on, Joel, cheer up this morning.
Yeah, he's in a dark place, isn't he, Joel?
It's quite normal in a way, but he seems especially dark this morning. We love you, Joel. Remember that. Antonio F. Bitokis Calbi for before it's Paul.
There we go.
So there you go, Antonio F. Thank you very much for that. Michael, it's been amazing having you here on World Portuguese Language Day.
It's always a pleasure.
Can you just maybe end with a reference back to the Portuguese language thing?
Yeah, so I've got a couple here. Let me just pull them up because I did prepare some for you. Let's have a look.
You'll like this, Robin R. You can go have a few more hours, Kip, whilst chuckling. Whilst you're finding those, Michael, I'm up for a crypto club. You should get Heidi and Toby from Crypto Tips YouTube channel. They live in Nazareth. Oh, that sounds good. That sounds very good. Excellent. I might go and meet. I'm moving to Caldas this coming weekend, so I'm going to be in that area. All the more handy for Heidi and Toby of Crypto Tips. Right, so we're gonna treat you now.
Yeah, just got a couple. So for a Portuguese, you're not sexy. You are as good as corn. Boa como milho.
Yeah.
So that's one I like. And there's another one which is a Portuguese does not work a lot. He gets water up his beard. Agua pela barba. So there you go. So if you hear someone saying they've got water up their beard, it doesn't mean it's been raining hard. It just means they've been working very hard.
Please try that today and let us know how you get on in the morning, everybody. So yeah, instead of saying, I'm sexy and I know it, or saying that to somebody else, say you're boa com milho.
Yeah.
I think like hot
good
like corn. And like, look at my beard; it's absolutely soggy. There's a little bit of a reference there.
Who you call sexy, but apparently in Portugal it is.
It's a new thing to us, and we do want people to try it, don't we? And let us know how they get on next time you're back. First Wednesdays of the month with Michael Heron of Avanlight. It's been great to have you here. As Joel just saying, there goes the electricity bill and the new PC, Carl. That's Bitcoin, isn't it? Yeah, my Bitcoin mining. And get the Bitcoin Banksy to return. Yes, I think we might be able to do that. Michael, have a great day in Lisbon.
You too. Great day to everyone. And smiling, enjoy the sun, and I'll see you all again in about a month.
Cheers, mate. Take care. Bye for now.
Bye-bye.
Wonderful. Bye for now. There goes Michael. Just time for me to tell you about tomorrow morning show. Of course, I told you expats, ask our expats from expatsportugal.com. The webinar happens tomorrow at 7:30, and we've got a fantastic. Where is the bottle of wine? Never in the studio when I want it. Not because I've drunk it, but we have a Pratt and it gives me pleasure to say that Pratt and Symington's, I believe it is. It's the postscriptum wine. Bit special. I'm not the only person celebrating a recent anniversary or an anniversary in this month. Gary and Linda are too, a special one. And we're pushing the boat out a bit tomorrow night with the postscriptum. And we should have somebody from the company coming on to talk about it. So 7:30, Ask Our Expats webinar. All welcome. And you'll be able to talk to the Ask Our Expats experts in their natural environment. I mean, they'll be on Zoom, but they will be talking from their natural environment, talk about their locality and their lifestyle in that part of Portugal. All the kind of consultancy pro stuff, go to our business directory. All the, what's life like in your locality? It's Ask Our Expats, and you can do that from 7:30 tomorrow, Wine Club at 9. And then in the morning, look at this, the underestimated, always, Northern Portugal, Viana do Castelo, Trás-os-Montes, Braga, Bragança. I met somebody yesterday, very, very excellent fellow, Vitor Costa, will be joining me tomorrow morning to give his guide to Northern Portugal. Don't miss that, because I think Northern Portugal is, how can we describe that? It doesn't get its fair share of the limelight, but maybe Northern Portugal likes it that way. But we got a real Portugueser from Barcelos, from where the cockerel comes from, of course, talking about his life up there in the north and what you should know about the north. And he's in the realty business as well, so he might give us a bit of a guide as to what's going on there property-wise too. Let's just go with a few final comments then. And let's see what people are saying. Thanks so much from Robin. Nice, a pleasure. Thanks from Barbara. Pleasure too. Antonio F. Laughing with Joel. Jim White saying thank you both. It's absolutely a pleasure. It really is. Thank you, Jim. Thank you, Stephen, for your thanks. And a lovely, I think, a Porta. Oh, Jordinja is saying thank you. Great show. Joel, let's finish with Joel's Agua pela barba. In Porto, we say instead of hard work, nem que tu te fodas. I think that's probably rude. So I'm going to go now and just leave that hanging badly in the air. Thanks to Joel. Take care, everybody, and bye for now. I think there's more coming in, which are comments which I'll put up during the end titles here. If you've got any more of them, fire them in now. Take care, everybody. Bye for now. Ciao, ciao. Hasta luego.